around vaccine. We spoke about it a few days ago about this postponement of J&J vaccines, and that got everybody up in their arms, like, what happens to me next? So let's find out about developments that has taken place with the chairperson of SAMA, the South African Medical Association. Angelique Coetzee is with me. Angelique, appreciate your time. Good morning. Okay, we are going to connect with Angelique, or Dr. Angelique Coetzee, to get her correct title in just a moment. Technical issues via Wi-Fi connectivity has its limitations. That's just the reality. I think your mic is on mute. If you can hear me, Angelique, and hopefully if you can just unmute that mic, then we can talk. Can I hear you?
Thank you so much. I can hear you. And yes, I was muted. I spoke to myself instead of to you and your listeners.
That's been one of the features of a COVID-19 world, when we do Zoom sessions and whatnot. So we all need to learn by that. That's true. Okay, let's get to the issues here. So a week ago, a concern around J&J vaccines. Developments have taken place since. What's happened?
So what happened is that because of all the data that came out from the United States, the government and SAPRA, as well as the ethical committee, remember there's two bodies that needs to give the go-ahead. One is SAPRA, the other one is the ethical committee. Because this is still an implementation study, if it was the genuine rollout, as in phase 2, then we only had to deal with SAPRA. But in the last week, there were certain conditions being put forward for Sisonke, and it was accepted by the medical MRC and Dr. Prof. Glenda Gray and her team. And so they then brought it back to the parliament, and then yesterday the ban was lifted, or the temporary ban on the dispensing of J&J was lifted. And from SAMA's side, we always knew that it would happen, but this is the but. We are aligned with immunizations and vaccination, and we hope that by Monday, Tuesday at the latest, that this Sisonke project would continue to roll out. We have to do it. We're running against time because in phase 2, the date is being given for middle of May, and then that is when they're going to continue. And they don't want to run still the Sisonke project as well as the genuine rollout in phase 2 together. They don't want to do that.
And what has happened in terms of the first alert, which I think came from other organizations in North America and Europe around J&J? What has happened in that interim period where it was either put on hold or suspended? I mean, what are the developments that we found medically that makes it okay now and not okay last week?
Okay, so it was never not okay for South Africa, but because of the big debate in the United States, we had to look to stop and also investigate. In South Africa currently, this clotting has not been picked up. And I need to stress again, this is not the normal clot of having a clot in the lung or a clot in the leg. The mechanism is totally different, and it's extremely rare. And therefore, we need to caution and say, please, for all those anti-vacciners out there, this is not the one that you get when you had been, after an operation or just spontaneously get a blood clot. It's not the same mechanism. It's only those 6 people, and from those 6 people in the United States, yes, 1 died, and it's always a pity because it's 100% for that family. But if you look in total at it, 7 million people being vaccinated, and so the chances are really very slim and very rare to get this specific platelet problem, where you actually suppose if your platelets go down, you're supposed to start to bleed. In this case, you are clotting. But then as well, what you have to weigh up the risks. You need to understand that COVID-19 is a clotting disease. So if you get the severe COVID-19 and you are being hospitalized, especially if you get into ICU, clotting is one of the biggest concerns that we have to get you out there. and it's difficult to get rid of that clotting. So if you look at how many people clot when they get it from COVID-19, the disease itself in the ICUs, and you weigh up, and in South Africa, yes, we haven't vaccinated enough people to say maybe if we have vaccinated 1 million, we will maybe get one of the rare condition. So you have to take your chances, and it's actually a no-brainer.
Well, I mean, from my side, I'm very happy to stand in the line to get vaccinated when that chance comes for me and my family. I have no doubt about that. But here's the thing to you. So people listening to us, obviously, you made the point about anti-vaxxers, then those who want to be vaccinated, but they get alarmed by the issue of clotting. So going forward, what should the person listening, or how should they digest all that you've just told them?
So you need to make an informed decision for yourself. You need to weigh up again your chances of getting COVID-19, especially if you're over 60. Remember, we understand that the over 60s, if you look at the data, once if they get into a hospital, they normally are high risk of getting the severe disease, high risk of dying. You have to weigh up your chances of getting maybe be 1 in a million to get the rare clotting disease, and whether you want to take the vaccine or not. So in the end of the day, it's still your choice, but you have to make a good choice. And I took the vaccine, and yes, as in with any vaccine, the first day or two, you will have a sore arm. And yes, it feels as if someone took a piece of wood and knock you against the head at the back. But, you can use Panado, you can use Brufen. It goes away within about 2 days. And if you look at the data, that's more or less as well. Most people, the site is a bit sore, and then after body aches and pains. The guys the people who get a bit more severe side effects are the ones who had COVID before, because the moment you are being vaccinated, your body immediately recognize the COVID protein again, and then come and try to defend. So your reaction is a bit more, but it's a good thing. It just depends, whether you want to have COVID-19, end up in hospital, or whether you would rather. And I think it's a no-brainer.
The answer is a no-brainer. Someone like myself who had COVID on July the 1st, even 2 days of headaches and a bit of extreme pain, versus not going to hospital and running the risks of a ventilator and being absolutely compromised on the third wave. It's an absolute no-brainer. Angelique Coetzee, appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing those insights, and I'm sure we'll talk some more soon in the months ahead.
Thank you, and good day to all your listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much. So there you are, Angelique. I was going to say Angelique Vaccine, Angelique Coetzee, but there you are, the South African Medical Association. And there you are, updates on J&J, and someone spoke about I&J. Remember that? That's a different discussion completely, but J&J is important in your life at this moment. You can't ignore it. What's also important is the spirit of giving, and I want to pick out your comments. Some people are messaging, and that's just absolutely great. So understanding the balance between you can't give for free your services, that is, all the time, and you also can't expect to charge for your services all the time. You're on this tightrope. Understanding the balance between give and take is what's important, particularly in this month of Ramadan. And therefore, I don't want just your academic comment. I want your examples. If you have examples of your give and your take, then that's what I want to know. WhatsApp me, voice note, or text is welcome, and you can do that 061 766 0355. But also, by the way, you can tag Salam Media on Twitter, as well as Ashraf Garda on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. If you want to pick up some comments on that, I will certainly pick it up and look out for it. Also, look out for that hashtag Ashraf Garda Show. Right, there's an issue that we're talking about giving. We'll pick up what's going on at the Red Cross War Memorial Children's Hospital in a moment.
The COVID-19 pandemic